Greetings, Roses and Jack. This is Mad Hair Patrick. I'm sorry I'm not in a good mood right now, but ever since I made the Wonder reviews, I've been looking over the best of the best, like Total Drama Island, and the closest thing that I got pretty much met is Smurfs the Lost Village. So it only makes sense I had to review something terrible. Yeah, spoiler alert, this movie is really bad. Really bad. But I still had to give it a grade. Like, how bad is it? Is it just bad or completely terrible? So, I decided to go something a little bit easy. The Legend of the Titanic. Yeah, apparently I have decided to look at this abomination. For anyone who have heard or even seen the movies, can only think of a few things. This was released a few years after the James Cameron Titanic, contains a bunch of mics that aboard the ship, tells its version on how the Titanic sank, and tried to be historically accurate. And obviously, it has been considered one of the worst animated movies in history. Now, I'm not talking about...
I'll be busting the moves and I'll be busting the rhymes. We'll be busting up laughing cause it's...
Yeah, I'm not ready with him. I'm talking about this other movie. And I know what some of you are thinking. Shouldn't I watch The Legend Goes On before I tackle this one? After all, it was the evil seed that started it all. Well, guess what? It's not. You see, Titanic The Legend Goes On was released on September 15, 2000. The other one was actually released on April 17, 1999. A year earlier before Titanic the LGO. So it turns out this ripoff did not rip off the ripoff. This ripoff actually ripped off the ripoff. Alright, let's just get this over with. Welcome to another episode of the Wonder Reviews. We're taking a look at a disaster worse than an iceberg, The Legend of the Titanic. It takes place in the city of no name that an old mouse tells his grandchildren what really happened on the Titanic because it turns out no one really died on that fateful day. Well, I should stop right there and call it faker on him, but that's only 2 minutes of the movie. The next 8 minutes opens with a flashback how the old mouse named Connor used to be a young sailor and an evil bad guy wants to marry the daughter of a rich family so he can hunt for whales. But the daughter does not want to marry the serpent. She wants to be with this foreign traveler because love at first sight. So the bad guys decided if things don't go their way, they'll call their shark to sink the Titanic to earn the rights to hunt the whales. But with the help of some mice, dolphins, birds, dogs, and even a giant octopus, they will fight to the finish to make sure everyone gets out of the ship safely. And that's the problem with the movie. Everything. Not only is this a ripoff of the original Titanic movie because of the plot, but also other anime films like Cinderella and American Tail on the characters, concept, and interactions. Even with the love story on Elizabeth and Don Juan, they barely focus on their relationships and wants to focus on all the other animals they talked with. Because there's this magic spell that if you cry on a dolphin, you can somehow talk to these mammals with magic moonbeams or whatever they call it. But there's no explanation how they can understand the mice and other animals. I know I should probably excuse it as being a kid's film, but we're talking about Titanic, one of the most disastrous historical events that ever happened. The problem with this movie is that it's not accurate and has no reason to exist. Because it wants to mess up history, the movie decided to throw in a bunch of characters that have no purpose to be in this movie. What's worse is that they're nothing but a bunch of stereotypes and tropes. Elizabeth is the rich girl that is being forced to marry the villain. Don Juan is the traveling gypsy that loves Elizabeth. Connor is the young sailor mouse and the narrator, aided by a Brazilian mouse named Ronnie. And Mal Travers is the villain of the movie that wants to hunt for whales with the help of a bunch of its henchmen, Jeffrey, Elizabeth's stepmother, and a bunch of sharks dressed in jail garments. There is also Elizabeth Dax, the Duke of Canton, that wants her to marry Mal, but he decided to change his mind at the last second for some reason. But those aren't the only characters we focus on. The dolphins can actually talk to Elizabeth because of moonbeams, but they never explain how she can talk to the mice and birds, and the dogs who actually talk don't actually talk to the humans. And seriously, every time Elizabeth talks to either Connor or Ronnie, she seems to be ripping off Cinderella because that had talking mice in it. She even has an evil stepmother, but lacks any manipulation. Finally, there's Tentacles, the cute octopus that is seemingly the size of the Kraken. Look at him! He's gigantic with testosterone tentacles, and everyone around him, especially the humans, are nothing but tiny bugs. Why did someone come up with these characters? I don't know, because I don't care about any of them. They're nothing but generic one-dimensional beings. The only thing that's kinda good in the movie is actually the animation. At least I can think of some good things about it. The Titanic ship looks really nice, especially its interiors. There's even some CGI shots of the ship, and it's not bad either. Even the character designs on the humans look remarkable with their realistic looks, and that even includes some of the animals. But there are still some problems with the animation that shows nobody cares about this movie. Some of the mice character designs are actually a ripoff of Don Bluth's American Tail since they're dressed in traveling get-ups, and they go aboard the ship the same way Bluth's movie made. And even though some of the designs are good, some characters don't give out a lot of explanation about their looks. Why do the sharks wear prison outfits? Why does Tentacles have a small dog face? Why does the villain wear an eye patch? But the worst element in the movie is the lip syncing, because the characters' mouths never match what they're saying. They never move or even close them. If you want to find something good with this movie, it's probably the animation. It's still bad, but it still has some good elements. Everything about this movie is wrong. The Legend of the Titanic is one of the worst movies of all time. Well, the animation is kinda nice, but everything else is just unpleasant. The writing, the characters, their movements, and especially the portrayal on one of the biggest disasters to ever happen. Putting in a bunch of animals isn't going to make history better or fun, and saying nobody died on that day. It's not going to solve life's problems. If you have a kid that's 3 years old or younger, don't show them this, or anyone else. If you don't believe me that it's one of the worst films out there, see for yourselves. Just make sure you're prepared for it. So obviously, this movie deserves a one-way ticket to the flames of failure. A special play for some of the worst films in other medias. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going out on the beach and moan. There better not be any talking dolphins on my way. Thank you for watching my video. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe me to share your thoughts. And stay tuned every week for a new review and other project. See you soon.